Hey, everybody. Welcome to Making Connections. This is your girl, Aly. I hope everybody's having an amazing day. You guys know we're here every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Saturday at 12 noon. And I'm just excited. It's been a little crazy behind the scenes, but that's life, right? But the show must go on. And so I'm excited. This week is the last week for the prom drive. They're taking donations and different things until Thursday. And then the prom is actually this Saturday. Um, the Her Fire tour is kicking off in Charlotte this Saturday. It's from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Your girl will be there speaking at some point. I'll try to get the specifics for you later in the week, but you can go to herfiretour.com if you want to come to the event. Ladies, if you need a promo code, reach out to me. Might still be able to get you one so you can get 50% off your ticket. So just reach out to me. But today, y'all know it's the fourth Monday. JT, what happened to the month? How did it get to be the fourth Monday? But that's
Yeah.
okay because I'm always excited because JT's with us and he always brings that inspiration and motivation we need, just to get through the end of the month and maybe to kick off the next month. So JT, how you doing?
Blessed, and what a beautiful Monday, fourth Monday that is, that we here celebrating and back on making connections. And I must say, it feels extra special today, and I know it has everything to do with Inspirational Monday and Impactful Monday and how it goes, and it's just a different excitement in the air. And I know what it is. When you woke up this morning, that was the first blessing of the day. And God opened your eyes, and there it is. If you don't get excited off of that right there, and you done missed the first joy, praise, and worship moment of the day, I must tell you, that moment is so impactful. And when you realize just how much of a blessing that particular day, that moment is in the day, in the morning, because watch this, the moment that your feet hit the floor, the devil big mad. Oh, he big mad because he know you about to do something powerful today, and it's going to be something that's going to be in spite of how he trying to interrupt your day. So pat yourself on the back, touch yourself on the heart, and know that you have empowered yourself to be impactful and inspirational today.
Yes. And as the day goes on, sometimes we forget about that but we have to remember, like you said, it's so many people who didn't wake up today. So many
Mm-hmm.
people maybe who are lying in a bed in a hospital. So many people
Mm-hmm.
who are, just in distress and going through so much. So just the fact that we woke up and we have another opportunity, even if you didn't do everything that was on your list yesterday, it's okay because
Mm-hmm.
today you have another opportunity, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so we always have to remember and be grateful you know, for life, however it's going, whether it's being in a circle, whatever. It's I think of it as an amusement park because truly, at amusement parks you have the Ferris wheel that goes round and round. Sometimes you're on a
Mm-hmm.
high, sometimes you're on the low, sometimes they
Mm-hmm.
hold you right here in the middle. The
Mm-hmm.
roller coasters, they take you up and down hills, they take you backwards sometimes, but as soon as you get off, you're like, "Ooh, y'all want to do that again? Let's get back in line."
Yeah, nothing like that. You taking it back to some classic days, some glory days. When you talk about the fair, when you talk about just the purity of the air, and understanding, we create the excitement. You just have to acknowledge it. Lucky for y'all today, I have on a special shirt that says "Acknowledge Me." Well, the deeper meaning is, okay, I took it's from a WWE T-shirt, but the deeper message is to it that God wants you to acknowledge Him. So the acknowledge me means if you take that moment and you don't deny Him here on earth, watch this, He will not deny you when
Mhm.
it's your time and your judgment day, and when He is telling you what He felt about how you were obedient in your life and how you said steadfast. And in spite of all the challenges, you were able to rise above and beyond even what you thought you were capable of. Because Ali, sometimes it gets tough out here. It gets rough, even for the strongest people. But understand this: much is given, much is required, and you have a strength and an inner strength about yourself that a lot of times you are still discovering. Because we are on the journey in life to where there's something to discover each and every day. You just have to be in the mindset of being like, okay, I'm with it. What is it today that I'm supposed to discover about myself? And I know every day you may not remember or remind yourself of that. But if you do, take the time out and say, you know what is it today that I can discover about myself? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday flow. Weekends, I know it's heavy distractions because you've been working all week and looking forward to a break, and like I just don't want to do anything. I get it, I do, but you gotta take those moments out. It's a matter of a discipline for yourself to be like, if I can just stay focused, stay renewed, stay refreshed, and be in a mindset to where I'm always trying to be the best version of myself, even if I'm not perfect. You weren't made to be perfect. You weren't made to fit in. You were made to be the design that God designed you in the spirit. And once you discover that within yourself, now it's a totally different walk. And it goes along with what we're talking about today. The manifestation. Say that 3 times fast. The manifestations in this life, apply it to any word and terminology to it, and it's supposed to multiply. But it's all about the work and the acts that you put into it.
And just like you said, and that's the thing I was thinking about. I was like, I'm gonna do my example because let's just talk about your book. Now, if this happened to you, you let me know because I'm gonna have a little conversation with God. But when you woke up, you didn't just wake up and your book was there on the table, like it was written. Everything was, transferred from your mind to that paper, and it was in book form and ready to be produced. Right? You actually
No.
had to write, type, speak it, then put it all together, get the cover done. So it was some action you had to put to it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
So God gave you inspiration. He gave you the message in you. He gives you a path where you can get it produced. He creates connections so you can get it advertised, but you still have to do the work, right?
Still got to put the work in. Still got to put the work in, no matter what we doing in life. But the book is a great example of that. Now I came from 72-hour manifestation of prayer and fasting, and God really pouring into me, because the one thing that was important about the book was to pour all of what I had inside of me in that spirit and in that moment, and use up all of me, meaning that it came less about myself and
Hmm.
more about purpose and what the book was meant to impact and inspire, which it has and it's still doing. So I'm so grateful for that. When we talk about manifestation, think about love, think about faith, think about your everyday life. What are you doing, in order to look at the end of the day and be like, you know what? I put action towards the things that I wanted to accomplish today. And I feel good about where I'm at this particular moment today and in my journey. If you can say that at the end of the day before you be able to lay it down, before you say your prayers, I call that a successful day. Now, it doesn't mean that every day is going to be a perfect day. And it doesn't mean that every day is going to go the way that you want it to go. But guess what? God's timing. Let me say this again. God's timing is like no other. You can't find it on your watch. You can't look at it on the stopwatch. You're not going to find it on your iPhone. God's timing is something that's in the atmosphere that goes along with your faith. Your little mustard seed faith. We talk about it many, many times on this show. That type of faith, made up and designed, is there to implant something that only you can discover. Individually is made for each of us to be able to discover it, but you got to discover it wholly. And when you do, you know, now your manifestations become within. And so what's in your spirit is being poured out in the atmosphere because you're hearing God's voice. You're getting direct feeding, spiritual feeding, and now you're able to not just apply that and place that upon your life, but you're able to speak those things into the atmosphere, and then it becomes something totally different because as you speak what is God spoken into you or what God is placing in your spirit, now your manifestations become purpose filled and people, whether they want it or not, it floats in the atmosphere. It gets to them. And once you put it in the atmosphere, understand it's on that person to receive it. And how they receive it now becomes individually their responsibility. But don't feel
Mhm.
bad about putting and placing um, things that are positive in the atmosphere because you were built and designed and made to do those things. And once discovered of that skill set within you and what God has equipped you with, now you take those manifestations of those thoughts and those theories and that design faith, and now you are a soldier in the shield for God, and you're putting in the atmosphere great stuff, good stuff. There's nothing toxic about what you're doing because when it's toxic, it has a way of floating and then falling by the wayside because toxic and negative energy has no place in your manifestation and in your energy.
Yes, yes. I just get excited because, it's the manifestation. Maybe somebody don't really understand what that means, but it's like JT was saying, you have an idea, you have a vision. There's something God has shown you. There's something He has put in your spirit, and you know that this thing can help somebody else. And so you start putting action steps to that manifestation. And like you said, it could be a relationship, it could be a book, it could be a business, it could be a network, whatever it is, but it starts with an idea. And so when you start putting those action steps to that idea to make it happen, then then it comes to fruition. That is the manifestation of that idea, that vision, that thought that you had. I believe I could be a good wife, and now here I am. I believe I could be a best-selling author. Here I am. I believe that I could be a business owner, not just an employee. So here I am. But it still takes, like JT is saying, it takes us getting up every day with that mindset. Whew, okay, here we are again. I got to go to these businesses. I got to go to these banks. I got to do whatever I got to do. But you know what? I'm just going to get it done. I didn't do as much as I did as I could have yesterday. I was tired. I needed a little break. So it's okay to take a
Mm.
little break. But until that manifestation comes, until it happens, you got to keep moving to some degree. Right, JT?
Don't be afraid to be the borrower because there's going to come a day and a time where you're going to be positioned to be the lender. Don't be afraid of that. There's a meaning to everything that happens in this life. Meaning, there's things that happen that you don't even know yet, but there are also opportunities and choices that are being placed upon your life in order for you to make the ones that are going to help you get to the places that you need to be. And understand, in this life, there are going to be challenges. There is no growth, and you can't appreciate it fully for what it is, and unless you have those trials and tribulations, things that are spoke upon. How can we fully appreciate generational wealth if we didn't go through the works in order to get to that? How can you appreciate having top level shows and doing top level things if you didn't go through the growing pains of putting a business together, putting a brand together, going through the marketing, the advertising, the growing pains of where I was and where I'm going? All these things were manifesting in the atmosphere. Understand the growth from 1 to 1,000 is growth. The growth from 1 to 10 is growth. You have to be able to appreciate what it is to go from nothing to something. The belief from within yourself to know And like, you know what? And there was a time where I didn't have as much, but yet, just like Jesus took the bread and the fish, and you would have thought it would have just fed one or two people, but it fed the multitude and the masses of people. That is the mindset that you have to take in approaching anything that you want to have in this life. Understand that it is in you. You have to bring it is there. You have to discover it, and then you have to apply it. And trust me, it does not just fall out in the sky. It does not just happen overnight. So if you are a person of little patience, yep, speak that in the atmosphere too. Lord God, give me patience. He give me a little bit more patience than what I have now. And understand that when as it comes and as I grow that with the enemy, Lord. Give me the what I need in order to get those patience. Be able to understand that when I hear patience is a virtue, understand the full meaning of that. It is one of the most special things that you can be blessed with in this life. And you go from just a little teeny bit of patience to great big patience. Man, pat yourself on the back, celebrate that for what it is, because that is something that everybody just don't handle well. It's more of in a society and environment of I want it now and I want it when I want it. When you develop those patience, again, we talking about manifestation. You develop that patience, and you open your whole self up to grow and learn and stay teachable. And you're developing a skill set that God has already designed for you. Watch this. You are building from within, just like that self love. You are allowing all of that to manifest within yourself. Let's go back to the original point. Patience. You apply it, you grow it, you be open to it, and watch the things that can manifest in your life and grow like you first grow that apple tree. Oh, it starts out little and it's got little blooms and this and that, but it didn't give you exactly what you want, and then it's wondering why the green ain't turned to the red and why I'm getting something other than what I expected. Watch this, just a little bit of patience, a little bit of watering, a little bit of seeding, and allow that time for it to sprout up and just show up and show out. Now you got apples coming out the woodworks, and you're trying to figure out how I can peel it, how I can make pies, how I can do this, how I can do that. That is the beauty of patience. And it's also the discovery of manifestation in your life and what it can do for you.
Mhm. And just when you were talking about that, I was just thinking about, that patience, that is so important because like you said, I think a lot of people they're not patient. They think like you said,
Mm-hmm.
everything's gonna happen overnight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna become a social media influencer of 20,000 followers. It does not happen overnight. I know we say it all the time. We see people's glory, but we don't see the story behind it. We don't see how
Mm-hmm.
many years it took them to get those 20K followers. We
Mm-hmm.
don't see how many records didn't sell before we see the ones that did sell and went platinum and all that kind of stuff. And so
Mm-hmm.
even like you were saying with the apple tree or whatever, you planted the seed, and you're going to be patient. You're waiting for it to grow. But even in your patience, you still have actions. Even in
Mm-hmm.
your patience, you still have to go out and water it. In your patience, you still have to prune it. In your patience, you still have to make sure you're giving it the right food to grow. So in
Mm-hmm.
your patience, you're doing the research of what it takes to actually manifest these apples. I don't think you can just go put any type of soil. I mean, you probably can, but this certain types of soil may be better for apples than they are for other things. So, even in your patience, you are still moving. You're still doing the work. You're still putting in the faith. You still believe in God. You're still speaking well. You know what I'm saying? Over the situation. And even when JT was saying, the people who are designed to help you, I think in your patience and in your attitude is when it starts moving, because people can want to work with you. They can see that you have talent or a skill, but if you have a really bad attitude, they don't really want to be bothered. Because I have worked hard to get where I am, and so I want to help people build who are gonna make my brand on the backside look good as well. So we also have to think about what kind of attitude are we manifesting in the atmosphere, right?
First impressions, please don't devalue that for what it is. First impressions, and when you first come upon certain things, it's going to be a lasting impression. The thing about what you just said, when you have the circle, I call it, there's only a very few that are meant to be with you as you transition and move through life. And the other thing about it is there are going to be some that are going to find their way out of that circle, and it's a natural thing. Those people are going to. There's some people that are temporary, seasonal, and then there's those people that are meant to be a lifelong member of that circle. You're going to discover that as you move through this life. Do not be afraid of it. Do not be afraid. It is meant. Everybody is not meant to be in your full journey. Only
Right.
a select few. So don't force feed that. Trust and have faith and know as things manifest in your life and they come together and they come full circle for what is the divine plan for you. Don't be in fear of that. And understanding a lot of those circles become small. They don't be like the ones you had in kindergarten where everybody has passed the ball and you got about 35 kids in a circle. That circle one day is going to minimize to about 3 to 4, maybe 5. And that within itself tightens your circle, tightens your spirit, and teaches you a lesson in this life that as you grow is just like the rotisserie chicken. The fat is gonna come off that chicken and it's gonna come well seasoned and be and cooked to perfection. And then understanding it's gonna sweat and get all that extra that ain't meant to be on there for when you eat it and it's prepared for you. That
Right.
is just like life. When you're in your rotisserie roll, in your stroll, in your moment, you're gonna a lot of it's gonna you like the fat off of it is gonna fall and go where it needs to go. And what it remains is you become done and ready to be eaten. Understand that your service and where you're supposed to be at becomes full circle. Many, many means there are many, many distractions. Very few allows you to focus in like the lens on your camera and really get the clearest picture that you're supposed to get and the best view of your goals and where you really want to be. You are positioned. Remember this. God is always positioning you for your gifts and what you're supposed to be doing in this life. So don't be afraid of that. In that manifestation, understand that as we add and as we get the things that we need in life, there is a subtraction that comes along with that that helps us fully be and fully get in position of where we're truly supposed to be.
JT be taking my mind to many places. just just like the fat he was talking about, that we need the fat when we're growing, when that chicken is, getting to
Mm-hmm.
the place before it's ready to be cooked or whatever, that fat is needed,
Mm-hmm.
in that chicken's life, but it's not needed for us when it's time to eat it. So, it starts, coming off, as he's saying, as it's cooking. But the things that stay attached to that chicken are the seasoning. It's the salt of life. And we have been called to be the salt of the earth, which means we are supposed to go out and add flavor. We're supposed to be the thing that is able to stick and stay in people's life, that brings a good influence. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that. And then when he was talking about the circle, it just took me back to grade school, that how you do
Them big girls. I love them big girls. Them the ones that are for me. Oh, I love them big girls. Oh, I love them big girls. When we get out on the dance floor, baby, don't be afraid to throw it all at me. Oh, you feel a little self-conscious, maybe. Let me
everybody. I'm
Hmm.
not really sure what happened. The enemy didn't want me to tell this story. Nah. But JT, what's the last thing you heard me talk about? Was it the us being the seasoning, the salt of the earth, or was it the
Yeah, we got through that. You was about to tell the story. The last thing I heard.
yeah, and then when you were talking about the circle and how it gets small, it just made me think about how you play musical chairs. And
Hmm.
so, as the music is playing, everybody's going around the circle, but every time the music stops, there's a seat that's taken out. And so, the circle gets smaller, and that just reminded me of that. But everybody loves the game. You know what I'm saying? You
Hmm.
still need people in your life who don't serve any purpose. They got you frustrated. Maybe they got you off track because, again, if you go back to something JT said, because then you appreciate when you get the circle that's meant for you, when you get the team that's there to help you build your brand, when you get in the family that appreciates who you are, you appreciate them more because you've been through the struggle and you've been without, right?
Here's the PSA. There's sometimes that family are going to alleviate themselves from your brand. There are times that everybody has a separate thing that is made for them to do. And sometimes you have to watch each other grow. And it doesn't mean that, it's any less of a thing, but sometimes you grow in different directions. You're able to appreciate what the next person is doing by watching their growth and where they came from, and them the same, watching your growth. And there's nothing wrong with that. Don't be afraid of that. Understand that in this life, there are things that happen in a natural sense, and everything happens for a reason. Don't be afraid of that. I've said that many a time. You have to walk in this life with purpose, but with no fear. Meaning, I learned something, very interesting in the sermon yesterday at church. And it puts perspective on life. A lot of times we go through thoughts, we go through grieving, we go through things that, just pull at our thoughts and our soul. And something resonated, I give shout out to Dr. Carlton Brown. Something resonated when he said yesterday in the sermon, and it was this. When you die, you really don't die. Because in Jesus and giving his only begotten son, the resurrection defeated death. So when you die, it's transitioning. You are transitioning to what has been prepared for you. And upon that thing brings celebration of life. You celebrated what you've done on this side and in your transition to the place that God has prepared for you if you've done and do what you were supposed to do, which is first believing in him and having a faith that is undeniable and then continue to acknowledge your God and who you believe in. So it opened my mind up to even more like, I know there's a natural process to grieving and there's things to that. Man, when you get to think about, man, to be absent from the body but be present with the Lord. Man, that's powerful, Aly. That is powerful. Think
Right.
about that. We have examples of our, people that have transitioned. So there was no death to that. They transitioned to our God, meaning that they walked and took steps that we all are designated to take. And
Right.
so if you look at it from that perspective, it doesn't mean it lightens that particular load. It's another way of coping with that particular part in life. When you're struggling, if you're struggling, I'm telling you, I have my times and my days. Think about it in the forefront of, man, he may not be present with you physically, but think about where they are. And they are present with a God that created all of this, a God that made all of these things that we're navigating through this life. He's seen and felt and heard that for what it is. And it's like, wow, that is amazing. So, I had a tough week last week. I had a rough week. But to hear that yesterday, it does something to my spirit. And I'm like, I had to speak that to someone. I had tears. I had tears of joy. But in that moment, I said, oh my God, she is present with the Lord. You know
Mm.
how powerful that is?
Wow.
Like that motivates me continue to work to be what I need to be so I can go through that same journey, so I can see those same things, and so I can see those heavenly gates open and say, job well done. When you look at it, when you've lost people in your life, just think about it like this. They are taking their steps and going through that journey, and smile and allow your heart to smile. They are now transitioning and awaiting that day and that time when it's your time. We're going to walk through those same steps. So if you drop tears, they're going to become more joyous than sad, because you're going to be thinking about the angels and the guardian angel that you now have in that person. And it's going to lighten. It's another way to cope. Just whisper to yourself, absent from the body, present with our God. That is powerful manifestation. The top of the top, the best of the best. Trust and believe that for what that is.
Amen. Amen. Tammy Thomas is on. She says hello, and she said, "That's right. Don't be afraid of changing within yourself." And she
Mm-hmm.
was talking about amen too, when you realize that your loved one might be absent from here, but they're present with the Lord. And so,
Mm-hmm.
I think about that, and like us, we always say, everybody takes grief in a different, in a different way, the way you deal with it. But I always try to think that we always get sad when we think about those people, but that means we had so many good memories of those people, right? That means we
Mm-hmm.
spent a lot of time with those people. That
Mm-hmm.
means that we had a strong love for that person, and that person loved us as well. So,
Mm-hmm.
I know it makes us cry sometimes, but I'm so thankful for those memories. I'm so thankful I can think about the time when, and I talk about it all the time now, my uncle threw me in the water, talking about he's trying to help me swim, but he didn't even realize I already knew how to swim. And
Mm-hmm.
when I was little, I was like, Mama, Uncle Greg was trying to hurt me. He was trying to kill me. He threw me in the water. He didn't even know I could swim.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he threw me in there so I would be able to swim. He threw me in there so that in case I was in a situation and somebody else threw me in, meaning to do me harm, I would be able to swim my way out of that. So
Mm-hmm.
it's in those times when we're thinking about them and we're going over those memories and the laughter that we've had, that it does kind of break our heart because we don't have any more to make at this moment. But like you said, if we continue to live well so that we can get where they are,
Mm-hmm.
there will be another reunion at some point in time.
Think about the sun and how bright it's shining. It's the smile of the heavenly angels that are wrapping themselves around us virtually. And myself and Ali are sending virtual hugs to those that understand and know that place, know
Hallelujah.
where we at with that, what we're saying. That we didn't say it was easy. No, 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 no.
Right.
But to get another way of coping, another way to deal with those things, because I look at it, there's a piece of me, I say, when my sister left here, there's a piece of me that went with her. But, you have to rediscover and ask God to renew, refresh your spirit, give me ways to cope and live, as and say stop living. But there's a moment that we have to transition from one moment, one emotion to the next emotion to the next emotion. Still talking about manifestation, but think about this, y'all. As you move and you transition from one to the next, you are also healing, hoping, and refreshing as we go through the transitions of life and life changing events, those manifestations of emotions and what we go through as we get to the place to where we're able to deal and cope and carry those loved ones with us as we continue to move through this life. It says live life to the fullest, meaning each and every day. I know there have been days we've taken life for granted and thought that life was going to be forever.
Oh yeah.
Life, as you get older, wiser, you realize life is more temporary than we thought it was.
Hmm.
And that's growth. That's wisdom. That's okay. I need, every day I need to maximize on the opportunity God has given me to take steps on this particular day. What do I need to do in order to fulfill my purpose for that particular day? And we don't know the day, the hour, the second, but that's the thing. If you are always in preparation, and you are on the right journey and the track of where you need to be as you move closer to what God has for you. So there's everything that happens in our lives. It happens for a reason, and I try not to forget that it happens for a reason. And it's easy in times to be like, God, why me, why my family, why this, why that.
Mm-hmm.
But in that moment, you take a breath, you close your eyes, and you say to yourself, okay, God, I know you make no mistakes, and whatever it is that you have for me, my Lord, my vessel is yours. Use me up. Use me for the purpose it is supposed to be and that I am supposed to be. And allow me to be fully what I need to be in walking for you and about you in the faith that it is supposed to be. And you'll move through this life and realize and discover things about yourself, that you did not know. And those things bring peace upon your heart and mind, and know that the eternal rest and the eternal life should be bring joy to us here living in the earth, because he gives us a glimpse of what it can be if we do the things that we're supposed to do. The manifestation of that blessing of God preparing a place. Think about this. God is preparing a place just for you. You know what I'm saying? There's a place and an opportunity in the olive branch just for you. All you have to do is discover, be obedient, and walk in your purpose. And watch this. The blessings and the manifestation for what God has for you will be upon your life.
Amen. Because he has it all figured out, and I think sometimes we get weary because we don't know all the answers because we want to know everything. We want to control everything, but that's where your faith kicks in. That's where you have to believe that, every word that he has already told us, that he would never leave us, never forsake us. He would, go before us and make crooked places straight. All those good things, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so, even Tammy was saying, losing my daughter on Christmas Eve last year was the most painful thing to endure.
Mm,
But I was at peace because she is resting now with no worries of what she has endured.
mm, mm,
So it was painful. It's Christmas
mm,
Eve. That's the day everybody's preparing for. So now, even every Christmas Eve, where everybody else might be joyful, you're like, oh, but I wish my daughter was here. I wish T was still with us. But I have peace because I know she's resting. I have peace because now know that she's being taken care of. You know what I'm saying? So thank you, Tammy, for sharing that because I know that was painful. But I even watched Tammy. I believe even in losing her daughter, she has decided to live even more because now her words, she's a poet. In case you guys don't remember her being on the show, she's a poet. And so she
mm,
writes more, she shares her poetry more. She's really influencing other people's life with her words. And I
mm,
I just believe, that even the passing of her daughter caused her to do that because she was like, hey, I've got a gift that I need to share with everybody. I know people are going through the same things I'm going through. I'm writing about it, I'm putting it on paper, but these words, if I share them with somebody else, will help somebody else through the process, will help somebody to know that they're not going through it by themselves. And so a lot of times, it is kind of scary being vulnerable, telling
mm,
people what you've been through, where you are,
mm,
but it really is power in your story. It is really power in your voice and in your words and in the actions you put in the earth. I think sometimes we forget really how impactful we are. And I'm not talking about as a social media influencer with followers. I'm talking about just your presence in your community, in your church, being at your child's school, and people seeing you and the influence that you are. You forget how powerful you are. And sometimes we want to compare ourselves to other people. Like I said, we see their story, we see their glory, but we don't see the story. But every one of us has a mission, every one of us has purpose, and it's already on the inside of you. God has given us everything we need pertaining to life and godliness. It's already there. We just have to let it flow. We have to figure out, okay, where do I operate the best? You know, and so, we even talked about that on Monday when Angela was with us. Where do I operate? Where do I see myself in a position a lot of times? If I'm in this position a lot of times, then that's my position, that's my sphere of influence. And so, like with Tammy, she found herself writing a lot. She found herself, journaling. And so now she uses that to influence other people. So what is your sphere of influence? Take it one day at a time and figure those things out, because God didn't make any mistakes. I don't care how you got here. I don't, we this can be a touchy subject too, whether it's, through rape, whether it was through, being fast under the bleachers at high school, whatever. God already knew, okay, it's time for this vessel to enter into the earth, enter in the atmosphere, and to grow and develop into their purpose.
I think Tammy Thomas hit the nail on the head when you think about what was meant, to live, move forward, but also coping. It means that person is now, in the spiritual sense, even closer to you. And the
Mm-hmm.
one thing that you know and take heed on, and Tammy hit on it in the comments, you know that they have no worries, no pain, no grief, no sorrow. They are in a utopia. What peace of mind that can eventually bring to your heart, even though your heart is shattered in a million pieces, there'll come a day and a time when you'll realize you're able to cope a little bit better than what you did yesterday. And tomorrow, it may be a better and a brighter day, to do that. But the biggest thing and the biggest thing I've learned in this journey, one day at a time, one day at a time manifests itself into what you need it to be. There is no perfect grieving. There is none. What you have to continue to allow in your life is this one day at a time. And really, as we look at this life, allow yourself to know one day at a time in your movement, in your process, that things happen in accordance and they happen the way that they're supposed to. But you still have to put action and movement into the things that you want, things that you pray about, even when it pertains to peace and balance and God giving you,
Yes.
what you seek. Those things, come as they're supposed to come. And it's okay. I say this all the time. It's okay not to be okay. It's okay. It's part of life.
Mm-hmm.
Once you realize that for what that really is, now you've given yourself another layer of coping, another layer to deal with things. And those things bring you to the place that you're supposed to be to in this life. So don't be afraid of that. And always remember, in any situation that brings sadness and frustration, there's a silver lining in that cloud called I made it through. I made it through the storm. I brought through. God brought me. I went through it, but He also brought me out of it. He
Right.
give you your even a better version of yourself, um, having gone through it. There was a strength that was built in the moment of you going through something that we don't always know, and it's not on Front Street, but you'll realize it in the moment that it's meant for you to discover it. And you still contain the pen of your testimony. You still have the ink is still writing in your testimony. And as your testimony is meant to be revealed, it is meant in there to help and encourage and motivate somebody. So don't shy away from that, because that's how it happens. A lot of people say, "Oh man, it's like an open book. Or it's like I'm telling all my business." No, your testimony is built to be just the nuggets and the gems in there in order to encourage somebody. That's the whole thing
Mm-hmm.
of your testimony. It ain't the 411. It is things that are meant specifically to motivate and encourage someone that may be going through it, or someone that might not have known, and you giving them a little piece of your journey. You never
Right.
know how that will hit
Hmm.
different because that prepare how that person received.
Hmm. So true. And Tammy said, "My daughter wouldn't want us to suffer. I live and move forward because of her." And that's another thing I was going to say is I agree with that because even when I think about my uncle, I mean, he would be like, "Why are you sitting around crying? What are you doing?" I mean,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I went on, but you still living. So
Mm-hmm.
get up and do something. Get up and get out.
Mm-hmm.
All the things that I didn't get to do, go do those things. He would be encouraging me, so you just have to remember too who they are and what they would want for your life. And so, you just want to be a good representation, even for the life that they have already lived. Um, and she says writing is therapy, healing, and an inspiration process. So, what what can be your inspiration? What can be your process that brings you out of the situation? For her, it's writing. Is it for you making music? Is it for you doing artwork? Is it for you creating clothing? What is it? Because that is part of your journey. And sometimes that your purpose does come through the pain. I mean, it's just the way it is. Sure, we would like for it not to be that way, but genuinely that's the way it is. So whatever your pain is right now, what is the purpose in that? Like JT saying, what can you get out of that? How can you make this pain become prosperous for you? And I'm not just even talking about money, but prosperous for peace, prosperous in health. Maybe a loved one passed away with a heart attack. Maybe they were overweight. Sometimes I've heard people, be inspired because then that reminded them life is short and I need to take care of myself. So I need to eat different. I need to exercise. I need to, just do things differently. So you always got to look at, okay, like JT was saying, what's the silver lining? What do I learn out of this situation? What can I, what can I do with this pain to make it, you know, into purpose? So it's so much. And we're still talking about manifestation
Yeah.
because you're manifesting that pain into something beautiful. You're taking those ashes and turning them into something beautiful, you know. And one of the scriptures I keep on my on my mind is, "I would have fainted except I believed to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living."
Mm,
I would have
mm,
fainted all the things I've been through. I would have fainted all the people that talk about me, and I'd be right here in this little corner of my world doing nothing. I would have fainted, except
mm.
I believe to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. I believe that things are gonna change because that's the way it goes. Seasons change, and if I hang in there, it's going to be springtime again. It's starting to be spring. We're coming out of winter. We're in springtime now, heading to summer. So just hold on. But even as you're holding on, even as you're being patient, put work into it, put actions, write down what those action steps are, put dates to those action steps. And sometimes it might fall short, but that's okay. Just change the date, but keep it before you, right?
That's it. That's it. And remember, there are going to be some dark clouds in life. But here's the thing
Mhm.
and the theory to that. Always remember that no matter what you may face, the challenges, the negativity, the toxic stuff, pray peace and balance upon your life and upon the life of others. And understanding that refreshing and revelation is always upon each and every situation. Easy to get distracted, easy to get frustrated, easy to get angry and mad about situations. Always remember you still hold the key to how you deal with things that happen in life.
Yes.
Don't let things overcome you so that you in your own way and now things are affecting your life. Keep your mind in abundance and growing and clear just by whispering in the atmosphere. Because God always hear you whisper in the atmosphere what you want upon your life and what you wish upon the life of others. You don't have to let things overtake you or you become different or out of character. All it takes is a moment of reflection and a moment of speaking in existence what you wish upon your life, and it opens up. It opens up the way that it should. It ain't always perfect, and it always what you want it to be. But trust and believe, just a little bit of faith and a little bit of speaking in the atmosphere. Allow it to manifest. Once you speak it, you gotta believe it wholeheartedly.
Absolutely. And I'm going to, just take it even a step further is sometimes you can't do it by yourself. Sometimes you have to reach out to others who have been through. You have to reach out to a counselor, a life coach, a therapist. Let's stop thinking that therapists and people like that are going to pronounce us crazy. It's not that we're crazy, we just need help right now where we are. Just like people who use life coaches, they don't always use them for the rest of their life. Some of them do, but some of them don't. They just needed that life coach to work out this situation right here, to work out this process. Because in my mind, I see it, but I couldn't figure out how to get there. And so they use that life coach or that therapist just to, get them through this hard place, right?
Registration is open! Yay! We are kicking off here in Charlotte, April the 30th. So I'm calling all female bosses, authors, coaches, speakers, beautypreneurs, solopreneurs, any female that's in any form of leadership. I want to see you in the building. Join us April 30th, 2022. Go ahead and get your tickets at www.herfiretour.com.
Thank you for being such a wonderful listening audience, whether you were listening live or on the replay. And don't forget to like our Facebook page, Making Connections with Aly and Shay, so that you can get notified every time we go live. Do you have a burning message to share with the audience? Contact Alycia Johnson at info@alyciajohnson.com. That's info@ALYSSIAJOHNSON.com with your topic idea and your message to be booked on the show. And if you're an inspirational speaker or motivator or simply seeking a platform to share your message, contact Miss Alycia Johnson at info@alyciajohnson.com. That's info@ALYSSIAJOHNSON.com to be considered for 30 to 60 minutes of weekly airtime right here on the Making Connections Network. Again, contact Alycia Johnson at info@alyciajohnson.com. That's info@ALYSSIAJOHNSON.com to be considered for 30 to 60 minutes of weekly airtime, your own radio show right here on the Making Connections Network.
Hey, hey. So I don't know what's going on with this internet, but that's okay. So definitely JT wants you to tell everybody how they can follow you, how they can find your book. And Tammy, if you're still with us, make sure you put your link where people can get your poetry as well. All right, JT.
All right, it's James S. Thompson on Facebook. Also, JT underscore Big Woo Radio on the IG. At JST Productions on the Twitter. The Cash App handle, Money James S. Thompson. To get the book, Eula's Grandmaid's Son, $10. If you want it, get an autographed copy. Send $10 to that Cash App. Again, it's just, every Big Woo Radio on Facebook and IG. Also Elite Life on the TNE network. New shows airing every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Go over there to the TNE network and link and subscribe. You can get updates weekly automatically once you become a subscribing member of that. We just want to remember that as we move through and motivate and think about the manifestations that can happen in your life, understand that you control the narrative. It takes you to believe, have faith, and then put action behind any prayer, any belief, or anything that you want to happen in this life. You hold the key, as we say, to the kingdom. You just got to do those three things in order to get to where you're trying to get to, and acknowledge Him, acknowledge God. Understand who is not going to forsake you. Man is going to fail you, but God is never going to leave you nor forsake you, and is going to always give you the possible where you think it's impossible. Stay up, stay blessed, and always remember, put God first in everything that you do. There's nothing, and I mean extremely nothing, that you can't accomplish.
Amen. That's it. Nothing you cannot do when you put your mind to it and you put the work behind it. Tammy has placed some links there where you can find her poetry as well. So make sure you follow Tammy. Make sure you follow JT. We're doing some great stuff. Keep abreast of making connections. We're here every Monday at 2 p.m. Now, JT is with us every fourth Monday. So make sure you put that on your calendar. If you've really enjoyed this conversation like I know you have, make sure you put that on your calendar. Fourth Monday is always JT. We're also here every Saturday, 12 noon. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and this weekend, the 30th, Her Fire Tour kicking off in Charlotte. Women, if you're ready to be a speaker, get yourself out there, write your book, need help branding. Angela Brand, the master fire trainer, is the one you should connect with. And we will be there this Saturday. I will be getting I graduated from her class already, but I'll officially be getting my coaching certification from her this Saturday. And so if you still need tickets, it's herfiretour.com. If you need a promo code, reach out to me. I'll see if I can get us one. And so otherwise, I will be there this Saturday. Love to see some beautiful faces out there. JT, thanks as always for being with us. Thanks for always being consistent. I don't have to worry about whether you're gonna show up or not. I don't have to worry about if I go out that you can handle the show or not. You just do what you do. And so I'm forever grateful for Tammy tuning in and always commenting. I love to see her in the space. And so, you guys, until next time, as always, we're leaving you with love, positivity, and good vibes. Make sure you share this video. Have a good day, everybody.